betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion with the largest selection of odds on everything from NBA and college basketball to NHL and UFC. BetOnline continues to be your number one sports betting source for every three-pointer to hat trick. BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here. Bet.
Who that say they gonna beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gonna beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gonna beat them Saints? Who that? Who?
Yeah. Boogie like Vincent, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Vincent, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, running like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this and I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. You're
listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
And someone in football who said, "Oh, Derek's definitely dealing with a serious shoulder injury." It was how long you've been doing this? You know what this is about, right? And trade bait, right?
Yes.
End of the day, that's what this is about.
You texted me when this went down. You're like, "What's happening?" I was like, "This is not normal for Ian Rappaport retweeted it or tweeted it." I'm like, that for sure had to come from Derek Carr's agent because there must have been like a meeting. Let's get it out right away. Like, it's just.
Well, look at the timing of it, right? We're a little over a week away from the draft. Teams are still in need for quarterback. People are making their decisions. Maybe this is to allow teams some flexibility and understanding with what they want to do in the upcoming draft. There's a lot more to the story. Now, that being said, while this is all happening, so the Derek Carr news comes out, and it was the same day that Louisville quarterback Tyler Shuck was visiting with the New Orleans Saints. He's taken visits with the Cleveland Browns, the New York Giants, and Tyler Shuck is a player in this draft who I can tell you a week out from the draft, his stock is rising. He is a name that I am hearing in league circles way more now than I was just 3 weeks ago in terms of a QB on the board that could be taken in the first round.
Wow. That is some news. And honestly, through the whole process of it, like Tyler Shuck was probably the fourth or fifth quarterback that I watched film-wise because you didn't really hear about him. He's been to Oregon, Texas Tech. He's been to Louisville with he's got an injury history. He's 25 years old. He's borderline too tall for a quarterback, right?
Yeah, 6'5".
6'5", and that's sort of like the line of demarcation, right? For these NFL coaches, they think that like 6'5" and over guys, if you look at the history of the game, especially like 6'6" is the number, you're almost too tall. You're almost too flimsy. You're flailing. They like them a little more compact. But when I watch them, first of all, I don't care about the age. And we talked about this on our last show. It was like the age of 25. I believe he'll be 26 in his first NFL season. I view it as a pro. I don't view it as a con. This dude has played a lot of football. Now the injury history gives me a little bit of pause on what's going on. But when you're like this.
This is the thing, man. We talking the Tyler Shoe thing. So shout out to the family.
Right. So
big ups
I've
to
spent the
y'all,
last few days.
I'm gonna play this interview right here. Shout out to the fam, man. Big ups to you guys on this episode of the Coma. Welcome. Now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. What's poppin', fam? We up in this thing. Man, listen, man. Thursday stream, This one's entitled, "What Should the Saints Do with Derek Carr?" Now, of course, they have some information from a player by Deanna Rossini, who kind of broke this, that kind of talked about it. A lot of people kind of digging into the Carr situation. Questions we're asking, of course, the answers are rolling out. So the answer is, and we know what the end game right here is, what Derek Carr is attempting to do. He's trying to force his way out of New Orleans, trying to force the Saints to release him or something like that. Obviously, by saying that he's injured, whether we know he's injured or not, that kind of spoils the Saints' opportunity to see if they can find a trade partner for Derek Carr. Now, listen, let me say this about Derek Carr. I know everybody like Derek Carr. He's not behaving like a professional. He got all this money from the Saints. Whether you like it or not, you got to honor your contract, right? And this is what you agreed to. Whether Dennis Possum Face Allen is here or not, you still have a contract with the New Orleans Saints, like it or lump it. And ultimately, the Saints did what they did, and this Mickey Loomis. So really, that's what I say about Derek Carr's behavior. He's not behaving like a professional. He's not. But the blame goes to the dumb Mickey Loomis. That's who's at fault with it. What everybody was telling Mickey Loomis, you need to move beyond Derek Carr. He kept Derek Carr here and created this whole situation. So let's get this straight out the bat. I know everybody looking at Derek Carr and saying this, and yes, he's behaving like a chump and a non-professional, but who caused this situation? The creator of this situation is none other than the blind as a badass Mickey Loomis. He created this whole wretched situation with Derek Carr. When you got rid of Possum Allen, you should have got rid of his stinking quarterback too. And this is a terrible situation all around and all way, and we really don't need to be going through this anyway. We've been saying the Saints need to move on. The window has closed on this team and all this kind of stuff. So please, I'm talking to the entire Who Dat Nation, please aim all of your funk and disgust properly, not just to Derek Carr, but make sure you aim it and shoot it directly in the face of Mickey Loomis. Please put some pepper on Mickey Loomis for this, because let us not forget, he is the author and the architect of this whole stinking Derek Carr thing. That's gravitas and facts all the way around. We would not have this situation if it wasn't for him. But anyway, now that we got that out the way, let me back it up and play this from Deanna Rossini for some of the family members that might have not heard what she was saying about Derek Carr. Here it goes.
On the story to just try to figure out what's happening here. From what I can gather, it appears the information got out from the Carr side of it. That was put out by them. Because I can tell you, I had some conversations with people in New Orleans who were aware of it, but they weren't looking to put it on blast. There could be a world where the Saints put it out too, but I really believe that this is coming from Derek Carr, because I think he's the one who isn't thrilled with the Saints at this point, right? And the information was put out that he's dealing with a shoulder injury that may require surgery that could keep him out for this upcoming season. This after we know that they redid his contract.
Yeah, they just redid his deal.
Yeah, and the way they did his deal, they restructured it where basically it's in favor of Derek Carr. Like the Saints are stuck with him now because they're going to have a $20.5 million cap hit if they were to move on from him. So they set this thing up to make Derek feel good. He's going to get all his money here. So I thought we'd go back to talking about when they were looking for a new head coach. Because let's remember, Dennis Allen is why Derek Carr wound up there. Because remember, Dennis Allen was with the Raiders. Dennis Allen obviously is no longer there. Kellen Moore takes over. Before Kellen Moore is hired, we talked about it on the show. We talked about it here on Scoop City. Why I was hearing that Kellen Moore was perhaps a little hesitant to taking the job in New Orleans because of Derek Carr. Let's just take a listen to what we were talking about before they made the hire. There was a little scuttlebutt. I hate that word.
I actually like that word. Say it again.
You like scuttlebutt?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was
about whether or not
she kind of said through
if
her
Kellen
nose.
would want this job, and it's
but
due to the fact that they don't have a quarterback already there in place. That was concerning. But that being said, I do think he's come around on it from what I was hearing of just, all right, maybe this is the right spot for me. All right, so there were some question marks, but in the end, they hired him. I know. I kind of agree with old me. So
I like it.
Gosh, by the way, that was the winter, so depressing. So let's just start there with the fact that there was some hesitance, and Kellen Moore takes the job. They love Kellen there. They've surrounded him with all these veteran coaches, and they decided to stick with Derek Carr. Yet, I know that the New Orleans Saints are on a mission to get a quarterback. That's the facts. Where in this draft, I'm unsure of. I just know they are looking to get a quarterback in this draft, and you can just tell by the fact that they've had some of these quarterbacks visit the Saints facility. So pick it up for the Kellen Moore and Carr dynamic here from just like how you see it at this point.
Yeah, when he took the job, I mean, I talked to him, and he was really excited about the opportunity to go and to be a head coach. Right? There's only 32 opportunities, so as soon as you get an opportunity, like regardless of the quarterback situation, if you're with a team with a good front office and a good team, you're going to figure out the quarterback situation. He obviously knew Derek Carr probably wasn't the long-term answer. They were always going to be in the market for a quarterback in this draft based on what I was hearing in New Orleans. It's just now at number 9, okay, that to me is sort of where the draft starts, because you could possibly and probably have Shedeur Sanders there at 9. You could possibly and probably have Jackson Dart there. You could possibly probably have all these other guys. Okay, Tyler Shuck, we're going to talk about him. Like, he's a guy that's on the Saints' radar in all these situations. How do you see these guys in a Kellen Moore offense? I think Kellen Moore is a great offensive mind. Now, we know what he's like as an offensive mind, right? How do these guys fit in? Derek Carr's not fitting into the equation. There was something that changed from the time he took the job and be like, okay, we can win with Derek Carr, to maybe Derek Carr's camp not being happy. Maybe it's they told Derek Carr's camp that, hey, we're taking a quarterback. Derek can be the starter for one more year, and then we're going to start this other rookie. Like, I can imagine something like that going, and Derek Carr being like, hold up, I don't want to be a placeholder. I want to have a situation where I can go and I can be a starter for 2 or 3 more years in my career. But it's just crazy that it was like the Friday news dump to where I could tell that Kellen Moore and Mickey Loomis, the GM, they're probably on the same page. And that's another thing that people, they don't have to take a quarterback at 9. 9 is really rich. What if you ride with Spencer Rattler in a 2nd or 3rd round guy and wait to next year knowing you're probably not going to win a whole bunch of games? And next year there's Drew Aller. Next year, possibly Arch Manning. There's a lot better quarterback class. Kate Klubnik is next year as well. So there's a lot of situations going on. To me, if you're number 9, that's sort of the start of the draft, because you could see possibly a quarterback going number 9 overall to the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, and maybe this is Derek Carr looking at the situation going, I don't want the Kirk Cousins treatment. I don't want to be your quarterback. You guys draft a young guy coming in here, and it's basically when is he going to play, right? Which then makes...
Let's be honest, man. The whole situation, the young quarterback situation, we took quarterbacks. We had Spencer Rattler. The Saints drafted quarterbacks twice. The first time the Saints took a quarterback, it was Jake Haener. Remember what happened? Derek Carr was intimately involved in the pick that got Jake Haener here, because Jake Haener is a Fresno State guy, so is Carr. So he had his clutches on that. The second time around, the Spencer Rattler thing happened with Clint Kubiak, and the popularity of Spencer Rattler in offseason going into the training camp and how he was performing, and he just had this whirlwind of popularity where people just grabbed on to Spencer Rattler. And his popularity was so soaring that I've talked about this constantly, because the Saints have been doing this with Derek Carr the last couple of years. He's thin-skinned, he's weak, he's scary, he can't handle the competition dynamic. When the Saints gave him the money, that's enough. You're the starting quarterback. But when Spencer Rattler popularity grew, and if Derek Carr struggled in a new system, Dennis Allen knew that the supporters would be yelling from the stands for Spencer Rattler to take over the job if Carr struggled badly. So what did Dennis Allen do? And I told you all this before it happened, because I know how off-code possums behave. They behave quite recklessly and selfishly. What he intended to do was then play games with the backup quarterback position, moving Spencer, who beat the snot out of Jake Haener in preseason, to take the rightful position as the 2nd-string quarterback. He would then relegate him as a 3rd stringer. And the only time Spencer Rattler would all of a sudden leapfrog Jake Haener is when Derek Carr got hurt. He played off-code games like that all the time. And don't think that I wasn't the only one to see it. The players seeing it too, because you're violating the rules of competition. When guys outperform other guys, they're supposed to get the position. And then he was obviously playing favorites with Derek Carr to protect Derek Carr from Spencer. He's just a rookie. But it wasn't just that. It's the fact that the Who Dat Nation had more love for Spencer than Derek Carr. So when Possum was fired, his protection is gone. The new head coach is coming in. The head coach wants his own guy, which is commonplace. Still in all, Derek Carr, you have a contract you have to honor. Let's just say that, because I haven't heard anybody say that. Look, Carr, you getting all of this money. I don't care if you like it or not. You have a contract that you put your damn pen on. You signed and put your signature on that contract. You have to honor that agreement with the New Orleans Saints. Like it or lump it. Like it or lump it, man. You signed your deal. The Saints got you on the line for 2 more years. Like it or lump it. It's unprofessional for you not to be at the voluntary situation, even though you need to be, even if it's a rehab situation, show your face and be there. But he has no intention of going there. You don't have an intention. Derek Carr not at the OTAs. That's where he's supposed to be. He hadn't shown up here because his intention is to force his way out of New Orleans. Whether this injury is real or not, nobody could pinpoint exactly when this took place. And the alertness of it, or with it popping up at one time to say that he contemplating on it, what's the contemplation situation about? What's the contemplation side of it? You know, if you are hurt, then in the doctor will tell you off top whether or not you need surgery or not. So what you waiting for? Why are you waiting? If you really hurt, if you wait long enough, then it'll take you past certain points in the season, perhaps. Or perhaps you're not really hurt at all. This is a ploy to wait the Saints out and force their hand to post June 1st cut you. That is the end game. But is there a scenario where Derek Carr does come back to New Orleans? Now, like I said, we heard what Deanna Rossini was saying, and I think she's validated in a lot of what she's saying. You know, he doesn't want the Kirk Cousins treatment. Well, guess what? God damn it, you stunk the last couple of years. You have a 15-14 record right now. Let's just put brass tacks, likes or not like. The program didn't work. It was a bad program. It was a bad idea to bring Derek Carr here. When Dennis Allen got fired, he should have gotten Carr out of here. Carr wanted to be traded. There was no secrets about that. He did not want to be here anymore. And I understand. Your coach who brung you here, who you got fired twice, is no longer here. So, hey, man, I don't think I can win here. Plus, let me tell you something. A lot of these guys come down here and they think it's like another team. When you come to New Orleans and play for the Saints, the supporters are unlike anybody else. We're not. Because, listen, I don't know too many people going to stand out in the rain. If you win and you represent us, we'll stand in the rain with umbrellas and welcome you all along Airline Drive coming up into the facility, cheering you on in the rain. Ask Stench, Coma and the rest of them dudes. They know when you play for New Orleans, if you play for us, you represent us correctly, we'll go all out for you. We'll go all out because that's who we are. That's how we operate. But we also can see fakes and phonies and baloney people like this Carr guy who wants to go to church with you and cook steaks and all this kind of stuff with you off the field. But when he on the field, he pointing you out for running the wrong route and fussing and he the one doing the wrong stuff. Is not taking any accountability as what a coach, a guy making $150 million supposed to do. But beyond all of that other stuff, if you get down right to it, all he can ever be, if he's anything, is to be a professional. Whether you like it or not, you get to work. If you're hurt, which I don't think you are, but if you are, go get the rehab done. Come down here and attend all of these events and make your way or make yourself plain or make yourself up to the Who Dat Nation. And are you going to do that? Because we're not going to be easy on them. We haven't been easy on them because we haven't seen enough results. That's the bottom line. All these people out here running interference. You can't get past the results. The results is it was a bad deal no matter how you slice it. We could not afford this guy. And once again, it's not on Derek Carr for cashing checks and getting guaranteed money, even though he's not playing to get it. That is on Mickey Loomis. Derek Carr is not robbing the Saints. They have an inside man, a stupid cashier named Mickey Loomis, who's emptying it into his pockets. So once again, like I said, I'm just so sick of the Saints, man. I'm so sick of these people. I'm sick of how they running these organizations. I'm sick of how they doing with the whole thing with the Pelicans thing. No real search. I like Joe Dumars, but no real search for nobody else. Don't talk to nobody else. and then sign him up, talking to him while they still got the other guy. What's that about? That's some rotten shit the old girl do. Old girl sneaking around, and then and she secured or whatever, and then you up out of the door. That old boy, that's it. It ain't gonna put the old girls out there, put the old boys out there too. You know, he running around trying to secure a situation before he skipped to the loo. Come on, what kind of stuff the Saints doing? And listen, I was saying side chick Mickey. I should have been saying side chick Griffin. People sad. And then you don't want to get rid of the chump big nose coach who lost his locker room because he called his team soft, even though he's softer than they are. And that the entire organization was built by a flimsy, soft guy himself who created this whole bull crap about don't want any aggressive verbiage and none of this kind of stuff, but everything is nice people and good human being crap, and they getting beat up and pushed around on the court because all these other teams are physical. And you don't see that, but that's indicative of the non-leadership that this team has. It's just, and Mickey Loomis should be thoroughly chastised for this foolishness that we are seeing right now. This is absolutely ridiculous, man. Derek Carr wants to go. I say we oblige him. You can't trade him now because he's hurt, supposedly. So what's to be done about that? Which brings us to our poll question. The poll question is up for the family members to please answer this, because I've been cooking these fools for a long time, man, because I'm just so sick of how they running these franchises. It's not hard to do it. They're just incredibly greedy. These people are so greedy. It's repugnant how greedy they are. So how greedy they are. You fire one man at the top, Griffin at the top, who's seen as an outsider, bring another man in that's friends of the man that's running the Saints and VP Mickey Loomis. Bring him in, but want to keep the loser ass coach and his staff. When you usually do it, you do it the right way. You fire everybody. If you fire the GM, let him fire his losing ass coach and fire his staff. You might keep one or two people, but the Saints don't operate. The Pelicans, Saint people don't operate that way. They'll get rid of one guy and then talk you into keeping the rest of them so they don't have to fire all those coaches and pay them and hire new ones to replace them. So cheap. So cheap. I'm so sick of Gail Benson and how they running this team. All they care about is money, but all they have is money. This is a case of stupid, greedy people, family. Stupid, greedy, non-accountable people. Mickey Loomis should be thoroughly chastised for this Derek Carr debacle. Thoroughly. And for my people that like Mickey, I told y'all this guy is an idiot. Do you see it now? Who pays this guy like this and give him all of this money and this leverage? For what? Why? Oh, hold on now, goddammit. I know what I'm doing. You don't know what you're doing. Shut up. It's crazy. It's crazy. What should the Saints do with Derek Carr? That's the poll question. The answers are post June 1st cut, reassure him to be the starter, outright release him, and eat the money, or I don't know, Q. Well, I guess we're kicking tail right now by what? 65% is post June 1st cut him, 26% is outright release him, 2% says reassure him to be the starter, and nobody's saying it. But how much is 6% saying I don't know, Q? If Derek Carr doesn't want the Kirk Cousins treatment, you know what you do? You win. You show up. You perform. And if there's pressure or a competitor on your heels, you show up even more so. The issue is you can't sit up here and take the money on your own set of situations, your own ideologies. You take the money, you take whatever comes with it. You take all of the pressure, you take all of the criticism, you take everything that comes with it. These guys are these guys are unbelievably soft, man. They're incredibly sensitive. $150 million. When you a diva, when you take the QB position, you take everything that comes with that. If you're not winning, we will roast you. That you didn't think that was going to happen when you took that money. You just want to go and buy cars like on his YouTube channel, driving around and all this kind of stuff. These guys, this is terrible. And I just don't understand. I don't get it. The guy is not a professional. Even if you don't like what's happening, you don't like the fact that the Saints got rid of your people, whatever the case may be. I don't care what it is. You still have 2-year agreement with the Saints that you have to honor. And if they say, hey, man, we have you on paper, then you need to be here. But not this guy. This guy also, oh, well, guess what? I'm hurt. Well, when did it happen? Guess what? Mickey Loomis, is he pressuring Derek Carr to do anything? I just see it as really funny and it's just strange to me. Michael says, why is ownership okay with mediocrity for the Pels too? Michael, first of all,
I want to say thank you very much. Picking me up, bringing me back to this world.
Man, listen, all I can tell you about the Pel thing, the Saints and the Pel thing ride together because it's the same. Their model for how the Saints are set up is the same for the Pelicans. They use the same antiquated process. Like I said, and the thing is, what really, really floors me about Gail Benson, where is Dennis Lauscher in the process? When you see them saying that they got rid of the VP of the Pelicans a couple days ago, where was Dennis Lauscher at? He's the team president. He's the highest person inside of the team, both Saints and Pelicans now. He has the same title as team president with the Saints as he has with the Pelicans. You never hear nothing from that guy. Why is he up there? That's my point. You don't hear any statements. He doesn't do any press conference talking about team building or anything. Why has he got the job? And remember how he got the job, what kind of dude he was. He went and ratted on Randy Mueller, who's the general manager, when Randy Mueller was making moves. And he didn't tell Tom Benson the moves he was making, even though he was building a team and the team was competitive and winning. Guess who ran back and went and told Tom Benson, hey, he making moves without telling you. That's how Randy Mueller ultimately got in hot water. He's back now, but that's how that guy climbed to the top of the team. You don't know nothing about no football or no basketball. The dude don't, but he's sitting up there as the team president. And Gail, I mean, where is he at? This is the guy that's supposed to be checking Mickey Loomis, making sure he's doing what he's supposed to do. And if he does something as stupid as what he did with this Derek Carr thing, he needs to be chastised for that. There will be no accountability. That's what I'm saying is the leadership at the top of the team. This whole Derek Carr thing would not have existed if it wasn't for the foolishness that is Mickey Loomis. KT says, tell Mickey it's on.
I want to say thank you very much. Picking me up, bringing me back to this world.
Oh, it's on. Oh, hold on now, KT. God damn it. Oh, hold on now. You're the one that kicked my basket over. Oh, my eggs in there. Everything was all over the place. I tell you, people, I was in the grocery store in Old Metairie, and a guy came up and just knocked my basket over. Oh, God damn it. I was like, dude, what are you doing? And he just stood there and looked at me angrily. And hold on. I was like, hold on. I started patting my pockets, and I said, oh, I don't have that thing on me. So I had to back up out of there. After that, I just had all my groceries delivered through Uber. The hell with that. That guy looked like he was going to hurt me. Oh, my God. These people are crazy. I think it was KT. That's what it was. Oh, my God. KT, what is wrong with you? Oh, I know. But, man, like I said, man, this is crazy. This is crazy. You don't have, most of the people won't call for a chastising of Mickey Loomis because this is stupid. That doesn't make any sense. The man didn't want to be. You knew that. He wanted to be traded. Even though, like I said, how did he want to get traded? And he was when did he get hurt? The Saints are not even attempting to, they're not going to share any of that information. And being that Carr leaked that he's hurt, I guarantee ain't nothing wrong with that dude. That was just a ploy to make the Saints think otherwise to get him on out. He don't care if they draft the quarterback or not. His decision is to force his way out of New Orleans. You don't care how his reputation look. If he was really hurt, look what he's doing. At the same time all of this is breaking, he's announcing that stupid YouTube channel with him driving cars. And ain't nothing look like is wrong with his goddamn shoulder, depending on when they filmed it. He released that around the same time, and he released pictures of him taking trips to Paris and all that. Did that seem like somebody that's worried about it? No, that ain't nothing wrong with that guy, man. That's some BS, bro. Yeah, none of it makes sense. When did you get hurt? You can't find him he can do all that, but they ain't answering no questions. And the Saints aren't either. So I mean, like I said, man, it was a waste of money, and then all that does is put money on on the books. It's 70 something, what, $69 million dead cap hit on the Saints into the future. You think Loomis is worried about that? No, he's not. And Gail Benson too busy trying to keep Willie Green in the building, not because she love him, because she don't want to pay to break his contract and hire another guy that can do it. Nobody in their right mind holds on to an inexperienced, boobish coach like Willie Green, who lost his team, reportedly. He lost the confidence of his players. And as opposed to getting rid of that boobish coach, we're going to trade Zion Williamson, so the rumor says. Who does this? Who does this? If you trade Zion, you don't have a team. They're built around him. Crazy. You trade Zion Williamson, you might as well nuke the team. You might as well get rid of Herb and Trey and all that. They're here. Jordan Hawkins, they here because of Zion Williamson, because of his gravity. You put these guys around him. I mean, damn. Who are these fools? Who are they? These people act like this is the hardest thing in the world to run a football team, even though you can copycat other people that are doing it successfully. It's crazy. This whole Derek Carr thing is ridiculous, man. Derek Carr wants out of here, and I want to get him on out of here. Please, let's get Derek Carr up out of here. Let's get him the hell on up out of here. This is some ideas that I asked artificial intelligence. I say, hey, baby. And they went, huh? So I asked them, I say, hey, give me some options, about what's going on, what we can do about Derek Carr. This is what it says. New Orleans Saints have several options related to Derek Carr's contract, including restructuring the deal, which they already did, potentially trading him, which they can't do because he's reportedly hurt, releasing him that is the option, the post-June 1st designation. A recent restructure aimed to lower Carr's cap hit for 2025. It also increases his cap hit in 2026 to almost $70 million for a quarterback that probably ain't going to throw one ball this year. Thank you, Mickey Loomis. Oh, you're welcome. Anytime I can help or not help, I'm going to do it. Here's some details. Of course, we know about the restructuring of the contract and all this kind of stuff involves over converting salary and signing bonus. He gave him his money. That's how he can buy the cars on YouTube, right? Trading Carr, which that's out of the window because he reportedly hurt, which he probably ain't. Releasing Carr will result in a significant dead cap or dead money hit, particularly if done after the June 1st deadline. The Saints could use a post-June 1st designation to spread out the dead money, potentially making it easier to manage their cap situation into the future. Carr has been rumored to refuse a pay cut, which that is true, so a release might be the only viable option if the Saints want to move on from him. Other considerations: the Saints are in a challenging cap situation with a significant amount of money over the cap. Well, this year they got 20 something, whatever it is, over the cap because of restructured contracts that they had. They restructured everybody. It just restructured everybody. What a plan, right? The decision of Carr's future will depend on a variety of factors, including his health, the team's performance, and the draft plans. Saints may also explore drafting or signing other quarterbacks to address the situation. Obviously, right now, I say at some point the Saints will probably bring in another quarterback outside of the quarterback they draft in next week's draft. And it might be just a guy with a camp arm that, it's not really a serious person for the job. Because at some point, you have to be able to just go with what you have. You got a rookie you're going to have a rookie quarterback. You got a young quarterback in Spencer there. They'll be ready to compete. You have a rookie head coach there. So a lot of people not expecting the Saints to have 9 or 10 wins this upcoming season. We're not expecting that at all because we don't know how fast the learning process will be with these coaches. We don't know how long it will take. There's no way to tell for sure. So you would have to allow time to work. It's magic. But in the end, the only viable situation I see in terms of that is because, listen, and also the most non-popular option is Carr stops behaving like a baby and honors the years on his contract, regardless if he has a quarterback or not. Because this whole thing about not want the Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins treatment. Well, guess who did that? Kirk Cousins did that to himself. If Kirk Cousins was playing well, then you wouldn't have to worry about Michael Penix Jr. taking your job. They don't take jobs from people that's playing well. They only take them from people that are not. So if you don't want that to happen, you have to perform at a high level. You have to be a professional and honor your agreement. So at the end of the day, man, I just see it as very comical. But if we want the options to get from under Derek Carr, what the Saints should do for him is, number one, he lost a lot of cool points with his teammates, or how he's handling this situation here. That'll be tough for him to get back. Really, it did, because he spent the last couple of years running his mouth a lot. And I just see it as such, like with the Who Dat Nation, once you expose yourself that way, you know, it just the veneer, because the guy talks a lot, man. He really does. It's a word salad machine, this guy is. He's a word salad machine. And not enough really good information is coming out of the word salad machine. I'm just sorry. I'm just saying, listening to him for the last 2 years, boy, he sure says a lot of stuff. But, you know, like I said, it's a lot of excuse letting, and I'm doing this when I'm studying the film, all this kind of stuff. And it's going to be very difficult for Carr in third year if he becomes a professional and honors the 2 years on his deal. It's going to be really difficult for him here. But that is the life that you chose for yourself based on your behaviors. And I have absolutely zero feel bad for you. I'm just keeping it honest and real all the way through. Is what it is, baby. So like I said, man, it's crazy. It's crazy in the end. But like I said, fam, let this stick and spread this out through the entire Who Dat Nation. I know a lot of people don't like Derek Carr, and listen, it's rightfully so. But please, 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 please allow your dislike to flow past and through Derek Carr into the chest and the goofy face of Mickey Loomis. Allow it to flow through it and heat up his hair so much so that it's sticking on edge. Allow it to flow. Allow all of that, family. Do not leave Loomis out of this. He is the architect of all of this. He did all of this. I told y'all this guy's a buffoon. I told y'all that was Sean Payton doing that. And I told y'all his new nickname is Side Chick Mickey. Side Chick Mickey, because he can't do it by himself. He don't have the imagination. He doesn't have the vision. And that's been what it's been for a long time. And with Sean Payton making all of these guys look good. He made Pete Carmichael look good. He made Dennis Allen look good. He made Mickey Loomis look good. All these dudes was associates or assistants for the man. Because if you look what Sean Payton doing right now, he took Denver and turned them around in 2 years. And the Saints still stumbling, fumbling, and bumbling. I'm saying. It's crazy because the Saints are not a cratered team. They're not a bottomed out team. They have all kind of fantastic players, but no leadership at the top of the team. How this man can't find somebody to fix, this type of thing? Because he's an idiot, man. I'm telling you. Guy's an idiot, man. Who's gonna pay that guy all that guaranteed money? He's hurt. Who's gonna do that but a moron, an idiot? Who's gonna do it? You don't do that to your team, monetarily speaking. You don't do that. You do it because I can do whatever I want to do. That old lady over there ain't gonna tell me nothing because I'm Mickey Loomis. I'm not accountable to anybody. I remember when what's the guy named Hoss? Mike Hoss, who's nothing but he's a paid reporter works for the Saints, doesn't ask any tough questions. I remember one question he asked Mickey Loomis. This was 2 years ago. He asked Mickey Loomis, who holds you? And he was just, I don't know where that question came from because I wasn't expecting it to happen. But he asked Mickey Loomis, who holds you to accountability? Who do you answer to? Who holds you to accountability? And you know what Mickey Loomis told him? I'm going to see if y'all guys remember that. Put it in the chat. Tell me what Loomis told Mike Hoss when he asked him, who does he answer to? Who keeps him in line? I want y'all to tell me in the chat what slick Mickey Loomis told that man. Y'all put it in the chat. KT says, Q, tell Mickey I deliver for Rouse's DoorDash. Uber Eats, etc. He can't hide.
I wanna say thank you very much.
Oh my God.
Picking me up, taking me back to this world. Talk, boy.
He ain't lying.
Hey, hold on now, KT. Goddamn it! No, that's the line. That's scary right there. KT said also, did you get those? Yes, hey, KT, I got a bunch of them, bro. Hey, bro, I'm gonna bring you back up. Hell, it'd be on. If you let me know what you're doing on Saturday, put it in the email me, brother. Let me know what your schedule look like Saturday. We'll fire it up, man. Because I was supposed to get you on the show this week, bro, to kind of go over some of these people.
I wanna say
So
thank you
once again.
thank you very much. Picking me up, bringing me back to this world.
Oh my Lord, man! Online now, KT. Oh my God, that guy's scary. Online now, online. All right, but hey, man, listen, man. What did Mickey? Now I want y'all to tell me. What did he tell him? Y'all put it in the chat. What did he say to him? What did he say? What's up, Barbara? Shout out to you. Nola, what's up, Nola boss? He said Michael Thomas was right. All right, what's up, Chantel, baby? She said, Q, remember Mickey compared DA to Mike Thomas? I know. Online. What he says, Bill Belichick, 6'7", 9. Yeah, he was crazy. He's eyes bucking out of his mind. Who that says, Q, we need to do a call-in campaign to the Saints front office saying fire Mickey Loomis. We ran Dennis Allen out of town. It was the support base that did that. That was not foresight from Gail Benson. She had to be threatened with financial loss and ruin. People started turning their tickets in. And they were calling, because I was calling the front office. I was doing it, and many people were calling and sending emails and putting comments in the video sections, to the point some of them, they just turned them off. And I was like, that's a fine howdy do. So you can sit up there and take the money when it's doing good, but you can't take the criticism when it's doing. These people are finicky, man. Like, these people are so bloated and greedy. It's ridiculous, fam. Fam. Shout out to you, Barbara. Thank you, Queen. Appreciate you. All right. Thank you for the super chat, Barbara. Much love.
I wanna say thank you very much. Picking me up, bringing me back to this world.
All right. So let me see if the family. Yeah. See, what did he say? I don't see nobody telling me. What's up, cool man? He said definitely remember it, but I don't remember his response. Okay. So y'all remember, I played it on the show. People don't remember the spots. He told me what he said to Mike Hoss when he asked him that. Who holds you? Who keeps you accountable? Who do you answer to? Stuff like that. Who you know that? He says, I don't know. He told him, I don't know. He said, I don't know. And I made a whole big deal about that. I was like, fam, did you hear that? It's supposed to be Dennis Lauscher. It's supposed to be Dennis Lauscher. The only two powers in this antiquated structure that they have called the Saints thing that has the ability, the power to keep Mickey Loomis in check. It's either Gail Benson or Dennis Lauscher. That's the only two highest people above Mickey Loomis. Lauscher's the team president. She's the owner. He has the power to fire and hire whoever he wants, but he doesn't do anything because he don't know anything. So he shouldn't be in that position. He's a sycophant. He shouldn't be in that position because he doesn't know. And even who said that? JD said it when he was interviewing him early this year. The only interview he did the entire year was the start of the season interview early this past season. And JD said, I know you don't know the football stuff on the field, but how do you feel? He started going into the question. JD said it. And I paused and I said, did you hear that? I've been telling y'all that this guy don't know nothing about how is he a team president. If you're a businessman that runs business for the team, that's different. But you need a football man as the team president to check the football people underneath you. You don't need a guy that don't know what to do. He just over relies on this Mickey Loomis guy, and look what he's giving you. He told him, I don't know. He told him, I don't know. And the answer is, it's supposed to be Dennis Lauscher. It's supposed to be, and I told y'all, so we start investigating what Lauscher is to the Saints. And what does he really do? He handles the business. He don't do nothing on the field. Whatever Mickey Loomis does, he okays it. Whether Mickey Loomis is talking shit to the support base and why would I listen to you guys? They went all this. I heard all this noise before. I remember all of that. And the Saints won 5 games last year. And at the start of the season, he was talking like that. During the season, talking like that. 5 wins last year. But it doesn't get checked. So like I said, I don't know what to say about any of this. It's crazy. But he told Mike Hoss, I don't know. The answer is the answer is nobody checks him. That's the bottom line. Mickey Loomis should be thoroughly chastised for the stupid maneuver that this Derek Carr situation was. He co-signed this whole deal. When Dennis Allen left, he should have took this rotten quarterback with him. Listen, fam, you making a lot of money. I don't care if you got a first string guy or a fifth string guy behind you. You're the quarterback of the team. The competition is supposed to make you train harder. It's supposed to push you to another level. But this guy is he's like a princess. He doesn't want any pressure of any kind. Who do you think you are? Tom Brady? The last time I heard something like that was Tom Brady was telling Bill Belichick, who wanted Jimmy Garoppolo to be. That's how Jimmy Garoppolo got traded out of there. I think it was to the 49ers, because Tom Brady told him he don't want, he didn't want that competition. But at least I could see Tom Brady saying that, because even though I don't agree with that, but the resume is like, okay, this guy's a Hall of Fame quarterback right here. You give him a little more leeway than a Derek Carr, who really hadn't done anything. He tore up the Raiders records, but what does that mean to me? I don't care if you hold all the Raiders records. What the hell that means to me? I'm a Saints man. That don't mean jack diddly, what to me. I don't care about that. But as a professional who's making $150 million a year, this man needs to honor his agreement. I know the Who That Nation said, Q, let him go ahead on about his business. No, facts is facts. Now you're in a position now where you can't trade him, because he's literally says that he's hurt, which we don't know if he is or not. But if it ever came out that he was, if he said, oh my goodness, which we all know he ain't nothing wrong with that man. Look what he doing. The pictures of Paris, they look like he have some kind of discomfort he walking around with. He ain't got nothing on his arm, no nothing. He got nothing on his arm. His shoulder don't look like it's wrong with him. I'm saying, fam, I'm looking, I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? And even the reporters are saying, man, this is fishy. They all using the terminology fishy, smelly, or whatever the case may be. It stinks. It's a lie. That's why it's fishy and it stinks. It's a lie. It's a damn lie. And when you have this mysterious injury that just pops up because you mad at the Saints, because you don't want to get treated like Kirk Cousins. Well, don't play like Kirk Cousins then. Hell, don't play like Kirk Cousins so you don't get the Michael Penix treatment. Hell, we ain't even picked the guy yet and you all salty. Show up and show out. That's what we got to do. Show up and show out. But I doubt, But I doubt he'll do that, because, oh my goodness, the level of scrutiny, the support base, all the names, he feeling all that, the heat from the mighty Who That Nation upon their head, the scary, deerish, at nighttime, deerish eye of the deer staring in the highway look as Derek Carr. Does he stand 10 toes down against that fury? Oh, no. Hell no. No. Don't even bet on that. Don't waste your money on that. This Derek Carr comes back and say, you know what? I'm going to be a professional about this. I'm going to make sure I play for I'm a New Orleans Saint, man. I got to honor my agreement. Boy, I tell you, man. I just wonder how it would have went if it was Alvin Kamara doing this, or Chris Olave doing this, or even Cam running his mouth ass Jordan on NFL Network. How would it have been if some of those guys would have done it and not this diva quarterback here? How would it have been? The guy doesn't want to report, and he's not going to report to no OTAs, man. And if he do, he going to get cooked. And I know he can't stand the pressure. Hell, he was squirming last year when Spencer was there. So I know if you put a top 10 quarterback up next to him, he going to I don't know what to tell y'all about this. Crazy, man. Honor your agreement. Whether that means wherever you got 2 more years with the Saints, he didn't want Mickey to restructure that contract. He wanted to be traded. He was upset because he did not want that. He wanted to be traded. But regardless or not, you don't have the power. The Saints have the power in that situation. So honor your agreement, Derek Carr. If you wasn't such a liar, then you could have possibly worked a way into a trade. If you go up to Mickey Loomis and say, hey, man, listen, let me go ahead on about my business, man. Could you please? Well, hold on, Derek. God damn it. I thought you was hurt. What about that shoulder? The Mickey Loomis them know ain't nothing wrong with that boy's shoulder, man. Come on. My God. Oh my goodness, people. Why we can't just have a normal off season where we don't have none of this foolishness? Why is it always the Saints got some stupidness going on? Why is that? Why it can't just be about the business of, listen, let's just get some good people in here. Let's just act like we got some good sense here. Let's not do anything foolish to embarrass the Who Dat Nation in front of the rest of the NFL watching world. Why don't we just, you know what I'm saying? If the guy's disgruntled, recognizing the disgruntled quarterback and trading him, getting him on out of Dodge, not keeping him here and he don't want to be here. Y'all know how I'm saying. You know what I say when I say with that old girl. You don't keep that old girl. Trade her or get rid of her and let her go tear up somebody else's life. That's what I say. And Derek Carr is definitely that old girl. He need to get on out of town. If you feeling like that, we too great of a people to sit up here and hold on to people that don't want to hold on to us. I don't believe in one-way love. Let the church say amen. Let the church say amen. I don't got no time. I don't have no time for that. What is this old one-way love stuff we got going on here? We holding on with bare arms on this damn dude. What we doing here? I mean, come on. I don't advocate one love, baby. I don't a one-way love. Baby, that's a recipe for disaster. Did you catch that? One-way love holding on for bare arms holding on one-way love. Hold on somebody. You grab a hold to them holding on, they arms straight like this. Saints got him bare armed. Derek Carr, please. That's Mickey Loomis doing it. And Derek Carr just straight like a arrow like that. His arm straight down. He's like that while Mickey holding on. Oh, please hold on down, Derek. This is terrible. When we become like this? What's going on here, people? What's going on? Y'all know. Nobody want no one-way love. Come on, people. You want somebody that love you back the way you love them, baby. Let the church say amen. This is crazy here. He wants this guy, see, like I said, man, you cannot fool the Who Dat Nation, man. You can't fool us with this nonsense. You can't fool us. You can't fool us, fam. All of that, we're gonna go out for steaks. We're gonna go out, and I called Alvin Kamara, and I took a picture on my cell phone, sent him a picture, and then after that, he sent it back to me with a check. I then took it. I went on my AI, and I turned it, took a picture of butterfly, took the butterfly, and colored the butterfly. It was purple. Then I changed it to pink, put polka dots on it, sent it back to him. He put a smiley face, sent it back. So I sent it to Chris Olave. Chris Olave said, "What is this?" I said, "This is a butterfly. I made this. I'm sending it to you. Do you want to go and eat some steaks later on?" Chris Olave says, "I'm a vegetarian. I don't eat steaks." I said, "Okay. How about a smoothie?" He says, "No, that's kind of weird. I'm good." Okay. And I sent him another picture of the butterfly. Then I text Chris, I said it's a kicker, Blake Grupe. I said, "Blake Grupe, you want?" That will kind of run off nonsense we had all the last couple of years with this guy. I'm just wanted to be over with, man. Y'all remember that? Y'all listen to these press conferences too. Y'all listen to the same foolishness I heard. Y'all remember that? Oh my goodness, my Lord, what's wrong with us? In the mighty who, and you know what? Nothing wrong with us, baby. We know who got the problem. Oh my goodness, these people can't get it right. This whole Pelican thing is stupid. Just punish Mickey Loomis, Gail. Just do something about Mickey Loomis. Take the general manager job away from him. Punish him. Chastise him. Let it know. You're going to sit up here and talk about you mad at Zion Williamson because something, happened with him and that old girl. Some old girl run up in his house, but he had the other girl up in there. And you mad at that? That he ain't had that man the victim. Oh my goodness, Zion Williamson chilling. He up in there with his girl, and then that old girl run up in there. She pulling all her hair and the nails off the other old girl up in there. I'm like, oh my Lord, what's going on? Somebody called the police on her, locked her up though. I said, my goodness, and they mad at Zion for that. Zion the victim. He was chilling in his house. And she talking about, how the hell she gonna get mad at anybody? And she just got through doing all that shit with that Catholic church. You want to talk about a pot calling the kettle black and a hypocrite if it ain't all that? Baby, I'm telling you, how she gonna post high like she the model of all that is good and sit up here in a fiddle diddle relationship with the Catholic Church, helping them hide everything? Didn't even fire that guy. My boy, how these people be acting like they put on these coats like they angels. This woman was helping these people hide stuff and creating press for this dude, and he tearing up and doing all this kind of stuff. They ain't even fire Bensel. They should have fired Bensel. He was the one on the emails, and she was doing it. But you gonna post high like you, the queen, the all-time angel, the queen of the world. These people got some gall, man. These people just fake. Brent says, well, I can't play him. Thank you, Brent. I was going to play Dick Gregory. I was going to play the cursing one. I was going to play him, Brent. I can't play him. I was going to play the good one, the cussing one, but I don't. They got the ladies in the house. I don't want to play it. The ladies in the house. I'm going to show the ladies some respect. But thank you, Brent. Shout out to you, my friend. Hope you're doing all good out there, bro. Crazy, man. How's she going to post high on Zion? Like her stuff don't stink, and you up there playing under the table with these people, man. Come on, man. He's fake. All right, anyway, let's move on. Saints predicted to swing blockbuster trade for ideal Derek Carr successors. Does Derek Carr have a successor? If you stink, do you? Because success is the root word of successor. What is the proper terminology here, sir? Let me challenge that term. Derek Carr doesn't have a successor because there was no success with Derek Carr. So we're going to just remove that altogether. That's the bottom line. There was no success with Derek Carr. He doesn't have the right to have a successor. He didn't have no success. Saints might need to trade up to land Shedeur. Saints desperately need to add a quarterback this offseason. It seems like they're eyeing Colorado signal caller Shedeur. Seems like it. Oh, they got binoculars and every damn thing on him. Sanders is seen as the second best quarterback in the draft, so there's a good chance he's off the board by the time the Saints land on the clock. New Orleans might need to trade up if he wants to be sure it lands the captivating star. I've been saying this because as you get closer and closer to the draft, you start hearing the real. Now, he was facing some stuff. Like I said, I think a lot of it was how prime time is I ain't gonna say overconfident, but he's very confident. Let's say that. And that kind of is overlays on Shedeur. So you can see Shedeur is not lacking for confident. Very confident man, right? Very confident. How dare he tell the NFL combine that he wasn't throwing up there, right? That he threw for his pro day. Well, people do that. But, for whatever reason, they were throwing dirt on him to kind of drop him down, and they throw mud on you to slide you down. Or he's not, some people saying, and I played y'all last week, guy was saying that the execs that he talked to didn't see him as a top 15. It wasn't as a top 10. He wasn't a top 15, and some see him as not even a first-round quarterback. What? So he's down there with the rest of them. It's absolute foolishness and a underhanded way of demolishing somebody's draft stock. But if you are a smart team and you've done your research, see, that'll fool and trip up a dumb team that didn't do their research on the player. But if you studied the film on the guy's absolutely a first-round draft pick, in my estimation. he's a top 10 player in this. Like, you talk about the quarterbacks they have, it's not like they're blowing, Cam Ward and him are they're first round draft pick quarterbacks, no doubt about it. They're franchise quarterbacks, no doubt about it. No ifs, ands, buts about it. Then when you have to then start thinking about the rest of the quarterbacks, Jackson Dart and all these other guys, Tyler Shue and all these, from the kid from Louisville, which I like how he played this year. It's just not enough film on me to be shooting him up in there. And a lot of times these guys get shot and pushed up into higher draft stack. It'll be a lot of the publicist people there. Some people get greased to lift up their people because they get more money by moving them up that way. And you see some of these people shoot up the board. We see this happen every year. But if you have a good scouting staff and you know what you're doing, then you know what you need to do. I don't think they get Cam Ward because perhaps the Titans are going to take him. But like I said, I do not believe that he will be available at 9. I don't see it. I think somebody is going to reach at him and get him. And if he falls to 9, like I said, I would love for that to happen, because that means you don't have to do nothing but send the card in. You don't have to surrender any extra picks. If he goes to your 9, hey, I'm for that. I just don't believe that he'll make it past several hungry ass NFL teams that need quarterbacks, including the Jets, the Giants, who, regardless if they got veterans, these are bridge veterans with Russell Wilson, I think, for a year, and Jameis on 2. These are bridge guys. So at some point, they're going to want a quarterback, whether they wait this year or next year. Some of these guys are not going to wait next year, because guess what? Some of these coaches are on a hot seat, so they need to win something now. They got to win now. So they ain't got the latitude or the distance to say, well, we'll just wait next year when Klubnik and all these other guys come out. Perhaps Arch. I don't think Arch comes out next year. Allard from Penn State. Those guys come out. So we'll see, man, how it goes. But Lou Steglagiev, I hope I'm saying I butchered the hell out of his name, Lou S. of NFL Spin Zone recently predicted the Saints would swing a blockbuster draft day trade with the Pats to move from 9 to 4 in the first round of the draft. With the 4th pick, he predicted that the Saints would select the aforementioned Sanders. With Derek Carr's 2025 status now in jeopardy, the Saints make a major move and trade up 5 slots with the Pats to secure Shedeur. If nothing else, the Saints finally begin the process of building for the future. A trade like this would likely cost the Saints a lot of capital, but if New Orleans wants to be sure it lands the prospect it wants, it's the price of doing business. Now listen, I don't expect Shedeur to come right at like it, because I want it to be a competition. I don't want it to be handed to him, even though if, let's say it happens where he gets picked up anywhere, the Saints secure him, whether at 9 or they move up, regardless, whatever the scenario you pick. If they land him in there, he's not going to just be given the quarterback position right away. He's going to come down here and he have to compete with Spencer Rattler for the job. And I think Spencer Rattler will give him a run for his money. I really do think that. Spencer Rattler pushed Jake Haener over, and Jake Haener had an extra year on him. He was training with other people. I think he was training with Gruden last year, and then got into the game, and he had zero pocket command. When he was in there and they started him with, what's his name? The special teams coach started him over Spencer. He had zero pocket command. Zero pocket command. And when they finally benched him and put Spencer Rattler in there, the offense started to turn. So because Spencer's a leader, he had pocket command, and he has leadership abilities. Players can sense that. When they got a guy know what he's doing and he's like, listen, you do this. He telling the quarterback knows where everybody's supposed to be and how they're lining up. If guys are confused, they talk to him, hey, yeah, you stand right here. I'm gonna do this, that, and the third. That's how they go. Quarterback supposed to know what everybody on the field's doing. That wasn't Jake Haener. So like I said, man, Shedeur, if he's the guy, he's intelligent, and I would love to see Shedeur Sanders and Spencer Rattler compete for that job. Now, ultimately, they would like to see Shedeur end up getting it, but at the end of the day, Spencer will push him for that job. Even though Spencer's a fit, he has nothing to lose. So, I mean, in the end, man, I just think getting, because they have to get the guy. No doubt about it. The Saints looking at all these people. Now, if the situation doesn't work out, and Shedeur is not there. The Saints can't move up to secure him. Somebody else gets him and they botched it. Or not botched it, but somebody else get it. They got to pivot to something else. And Jackson Dart is a name that keep picking up. Now they're saying Jackson Dart could be a first-round draft pick. They're looking at him. This happens every year. Like people saying Q Jackson's not a first-round draft pick quarterback. Well, guess what? He's going to be one. And I'm not saying if Spencer, if Shedeur's not there, somebody going to take Jackson Dart in the first round, whether it's if you know, whoever it is. It happens every year. Quarterbacks climb, sometimes faster than the rest of these guys. You know, so like I said, there's always somebody that need a quarterback. So you'll see, like she just mentioned, Deanna Rossini and Chase was talking about Tyler from Louisville climbing. And they saying he a first round. But no, he ain't. No, that guy is not a first round. That's crazy talk right there. You don't put no Tyler Show over Kyle McCord. I mean, that dude just, listen, he had a good year at Louisville, but that was 1 year. This other guy's had, you know, anyway, I'm not going to get into debating it, but it's relative. It's based on, it's not an exact science. It's all based on how their scouts see these people. And some of these quarterbacks are perceived higher than others. But in terms of the Saints going into a rebuild, with Shedeur, the Saints have wide receivers in Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed. They have Taysom Hill. The Saints have Juwan Johnson, who needs to elevate his game. The Saints also have Kendrick Miller, who needs to stay healthy. They'll add to it. They have an offensive line that they need to build a backup base for. The backups need to be a lot better. They have a lot of talent on offense is what I'm saying. So if the right quarterback is there and the right system is there, the Saints can have an impact. Elvin Kamara is still, even though he turns 30 this year, he still has a lot to offer. So they have game makers, game breakers there. It's just how the offensive brass can get these guys involved. And really, if it's Kellen Moore and what he's doing, more than likely it's probably going to be a play action style system when he starts doing all this kind of stuff, but it's going to be heavily ran. You know, the running game is going to be a big part of it until the quarterbacks pick up the system. You know, that's just what it is. You got to still win those games. So hopefully whoever they get, they can look at the quarterback and see if they can fit him into the system and use his best attributes to win. You see what I'm saying? Because that's what all you wrap the offense like a tailored suit around your quarterback, right? You don't say we're gonna fit you and you do this. No. You take what your quarterback does and you tailor your offense on him, like a well-tailored suit on a quarterback. You take advantage of all of his great attributes. He's got a strong arm. He's decisive. He has quick read time, whatever the case may be. You got to fit that offense for that quarterback to have that success. And like I said, man, I don't consider Derek Carr, whoever the person that's going to take the job from him, because he hadn't had no success. And it's just what it is. He was 15 and 14 as a starter for the team. So we're going to see how it all go, man. So also, let's hit this one article. This is the last one here. Then I'll kind of bounce to you guys. Questions. So if you got any questions, please put them in the chat right now. Put Q next to them too, you know, so I can see your questions. Put Q and then whatever question you have. Article right here is from Bleacher Report. Saints 2025 NFL Draft needs picks best fits in history. Unless the Saints plan to reinvent the meaning of generational talent, head coach Kellen Moore is going to need a quarterback. Moore beat Derek Carr's Fresno State team by 50 when they shared the field in 2011. Now he's a first-time head coach in New Orleans. He must decide whether his former peer has a future as a prize pupil with the Saints. That's already taken care of. Carr is reportedly at risk of missing time with a shoulder injury. Durability has become a problem with Carr. Yeah, Derek Carr has been hurt every year he's been here. Every year he's been hurt. And the last image you have of Derek Carr, the quarterback, is remember when him tongue kissing the turf monster, right? It's a very interesting photo now that you realize that's probably going to be the last time he played quarterback in the NFL. And Let me see if I can pull a picture up, fam, of the turf monster. This is the picture of Derek Carr, tongue kissing the turf monster. Let me see if I can find that up for you, because that would be the last time you see Derek. So yeah, this image right here. Let me see if I can put that up there for the family. Oh my goodness, this is the defining image of Derek Carr right here. This is the last image, the time you see. This is Derek Carr tongue kissing the turf monster, and as you can tell, the turf monster won. So this is the last image that you have of Derek Carr, the quarterback. Him face first in the turf monster. As you can see, he didn't get up feeling very well at all. His legs, his back close. He almost formed the letter C. You know what I'm saying? He almost formed the letter C the opposite way. Terrible. But this is the last time you'll see Derek Carr as your quarterback right there. The tongue kissing the turf monster. So, I mean, very sad. But anyway, this is the team needs as perceived by Bleacher Report. Quarterback or without Carr, the Saints are nowhere near settled at the position. Spencer Rattler flashed upside, but wasn't drafted by the current coaching staff. A former QB, Moore can't resist the chance to get his guy in the draft. The offensive line, a tackle capable of opening the season at guard or a guard who can play tackle might be number one on the shopping list for Moore. A fortified front five was critical during his success as the Cowboys offensive coordinator in last season with the Super Bowl champion Eagles. While the Saints have the potential to start 5 players drafted 53rd or higher, their recent results don't match the original draft slots. We talked about it. Tyler Fuaga has a bright future. Dylan Radunz is on a 1-year prove-it deal and is the best left guard we have right now. Eric McCoy has been accruing injuries. We need him to stay healthy. And we need a capable backup, a really solid backup behind McCoy just in case injuries hit him again. Cesar Ruiz is probably the most disappointing offensive lineman because he's supposed to be a lot better than what he is. A borderline Pro Bowler, he should be. He's not, and he's still under a couple of years. We need him. Whoever the offensive line coach is, need to step that guy up, man. He needs to be better, stronger, and smarter. And, of course, Trevor Penning, who started for a full season for his first time, is entering his 4th season. So is he really in the future plans of the Saints, or perhaps the Saints could see an offensive lineman after whoever the quarterback is if they go in that direction? We'll see. Pass rusher. Cam Jordan remains one of the starting defensive ends for the Saints. He entered the NFL 1 year before Moore signed as an undrafted free agent with the Lions in 2012. Defensive coordinator Brandon Staley downplayed the base defense 3-4 or 4-3 he primarily operated. No matter how they align, the Saints are short on edge defenders, and that's because a lot of the unofficial depth charts are showing that Chase Young and Carl Granderson will become outside linebackers in the 34 defense. Also, the underdraft, and it's like I said, unofficial depth chart shows Isaiah Foskey converted to a linebacker as well. So if that's the case, then who are your 3 down linemen in the 34 defense? We know one of them is Brian Bresee. We know the other one possibly is the man they picked up from the Patriots. Who's the other guy? It shouldn't be Cam Jordan. It shouldn't be Cam. Cam should be backing up at this point. He just simply doesn't have the speed to be there. I think at this point of his career, he's more relied on as a solid reserve, not as a starter. I don't think Cam has, 4 sacks over the last – how many sacks does Cam have over the last 2 years? Hold on, let me look this up right quick, fam. I doubt Cam had 5 sacks over the last 2 years combined. Hold on, let me make sure here. That's what I'm saying. It's like, we need somebody that's a little bit more disruptive there. He works as a backup, but he shouldn't be starting from you this late in his career. He just doesn't have that athleticism that you want anymore. Let me see. How many sacks does he have over the last 2 years? It's been dropping off drastically. Let me see how many sacks. Okay, he does. He has 6 sacks in 2 years. I said I don't think he has 5. So he got 6 sacks in 2 years. There you go. Yeah. So in 23, he played 17 games, had 2 sacks. Last year he had 4 sacks, so he had 6 sacks in 2 years. I thought I was like he had 5, so he had 1 more than what I thought he had. Yeah, because that's a big time drop off. Because 17 games in 2 years. 17 in 2023, 17 in 2024, 6 sacks totaled. Previous, the 2022 season, he had 8.5, something like that. They were respectable numbers, but they've dropped. Despite the fact that he's been playing in these games, they haven't been what they've been. So it's been really interesting to see how that goes. Thank you. I see it's Muse. Shout out to Muse. Thank you, Muse, for the cash out. Much love to you, Queen. All right, thank you. Appreciate you. She says sending love to you and the family. Thank you. Appreciate you for that.
I wanna say
Trinity
thank you very much. Picking me up, bringing me back to this world.
All right, beautiful name. Trinity Matoya with the cash app. Thank you, sweetheart. Appreciate that so much. All right, and like I said, fam, they have some guys in this draft, and me and KT gonna talk about it. But listen, they have some really good defensive linemen in this draft, but you kind of looking at the quarterback position, but that's all right. Based on if we got to move or not, you can still address multiple positions. All right, and this is what they said about the best prospects. Will Campbell from LSU, the offensive lineman. Jackson Dart from Ole Miss. Jahad Campbell, fantastic linebacker from Alabama. Tyler Warren from Penn State, the good tight end. Will Johnson, big cornerback from Michigan, playmaker. Jelani Walker from Georgia is another fantastic pass rusher, linebacker type guy. Amai Mimbo, who's seen as arguably one of the best offensive linemen in the draft. Malachi Starks from Georgia. Shamar Stewart from Texas A&M. You see Shedeur there. Mike Green, fantastic defensive end from Marshall, who had this guy is awesome. Mike Green, I don't know where he ends up for, but he's fantastic, man. Colston Loveland, the big tight end from Michigan. Luther Burden, the third playmaker extraordinaire from Mizzou. And, of course, they look at the 2025 draft picks by round. We have 9 picks, right, by the New Orleans Saints there. And this is the pick breakdown. The 9th pick in the first round, the 40th pick in the second round, which is the 8th pick once the round started. 3rd round, which is 7th pick in the round, which is 71. And then so on and so forth. The Saints have 2 3s. A 7 and a 29th pick. In the 4th round, they have 2 picks. The 10th and the 29th are the 112th to 131, which is, they got from the Commanders. No 5th round selection. They got a 6, 184, a 7, 2 7s, which are picks 248 and 254. So the Saints 9 picks overall. So, and then, of course, a little history just for that. In the history of the franchise, Arch Manning is the only quarterback the Saints have drafted in the top 74. Manning was selected in 1971, 2nd overall. So this is a big deal when the Saints draft a quarterback in the first round. Hadn't taken one since 1971. So if Shedeur is that guy and we know a lot of teams take quarterbacks first round picks, but we don't do that here. We'll take a guy in the 3rd, the 4th. Spencer was the 5th round. Jake Haener was the 4th round. We'll take them all over the place, but not number 1. If Shedeur is that guy, that is major league, man. That's major league. Garrett Grayson, y'all remember that name? The 75th overall back in 2015. Danny Awful Waffle, 99th in 1997 are the only other QBs the team selected in the top 100. That does not include the 1981 supplemental draft, Dave Wilson. The Saints have drafted 21 running backs in the top 74, including 4 in the top 5. George Rogers, number 1 in 81. Reggie Bush, number 2 in 06. Chuck Munchie, number 3 in 1976. And Ricky Williams, number 5 in 1999, baby. Saints gave up the entire draft, and I think the first round pick for the next draft for the right to take Ricky Williams that year in Washington. I think it was Washington they got the pick from. Washington took those picks, and built their team. I think it wasn't it Washington they traded with, family? Y'all remind me in the chat. I forget. But that's some of the stuff right there just to talk about. All right, let me hit up some. Yeah, Daniel Waffle was awful. He was terrible. He won the Heisman that year. By the way, he won the Heisman. All right, Jade says, Q, who do you want the Saints to pick in the draft? I want a safety. Okay, is my pick. Who do you? Oh no, that's not a safety. That's Shedeur Sanders, I guess. Is my pick. Who do you want them to draft? I would actually. I mean, we have no choice, right? We have to kind of pivot to that quarterback position because that's the biggest need is the QB. So I think the Saints will be aggressive trying to go and get Shedeur. If they feel like if another team is threatening them for him, I think that they'll go and get him. I think that's already established that they want him to be the guy, and they'll be willing to move around and do what they need to do to get it. So between probably starting next week, between Monday and Thursday, when the draft starts, you're gonna start hearing all kind of stuff, fam. Y'all gonna start seeing a lot of movement in that front. Like you're gonna start seeing teams jostling for position for players. You're gonna start seeing a lot of rhetoric about people falling or whatever. But the Saints coming into this draft, there's no confusion. They have Shedeur Sanders firmly entrenched in their mind, and they're willing to do, because this report's already leaking out right now. Because it's on Front Street. The Saints' business is on Front Street, which means if your business is on Front Street, you can't play the overt game and sit back and sneak around. You're on Front Street, so you have to be aggressive. You got to be aggressive. So I expect the Saints to line up for them. If they feel like another team's going to get them, they're going to go out there and make sure they go and nail them. So I wouldn't be surprised if they move up as far as they can get at them. But the conversation is like working on trying to figure out what Cleveland's going to do, what Giants are going to do, what the Jets is going to do. And if, like I said, you'll see next week how serious they are about trying to move up him based on what these other teams are willing to or what they want. Because if they'll have other teams that will see Shedeur as a guy, you're going to start seeing all the smoke clear on Shedeur. People want that guy, man. They're just trying to dirty him up a little bit. Thank you, Muse. Shout out to you. All right. Thank you, Barbara. Hold on, Barbara. Barbara says you can't win. All right, Barbara. Thank you. You can't win. Thank you.
I want to say thank you very much. Picking me up, bringing me back to this world.
That's one of Barbara's favorite songs, isn't it, Barbara? She likes You Can't Win from the Wiz. And let me play a little bit of that for Barbara, in respect to the Queen. Let me see if I can spin a little bit of that. You can't win. Oh, man, boy, that's the New Orleans Saints theme song right there. Mickey Loomis. Oh, you can't win. That was Mickey Loomis. That what he was saying. Crazy people, man. All right, let me spin a little list for Barbara. One of her favorite songs here from The Wiz. You Can't Win. Hold on. Put one if shout out to Barbara, man. Appreciate you, baby. Much love to you on that. All right, and Pammy. Shout out to Pam. What's happening, Pammy?
Thank you very much. Picking me up, bringing me back to this world.
Where you been at, girl? Big shout out to Pammy. Good to see her in that. Shout out to the queens out there. Much love to y'all, man. Appreciate y'all. All right, Duke says he like meal roll. Okay, I hear you, brother. You like meal roll there? Okay, I feel you, brother. All right, thank you for that. All right, who else we got there? All right, what's up, KK? Says free check, Saints come here to finance your dreams. All right, Dylan says get Rattler the first string lineup and he gonna eat. Yeah, I mean you ready to see something from them, ain't you? I mean Rattler, I just waiting to see what Rattler can do, man. All right, Barbara Delso says I bet the Saints will bypass need and pick best player available and put them where they want instead of the natural position. What would be the best player available if that was the case? What would be the player? Because if the best player is available, a lot of mock drafts, you have the second best pass rusher, because we know Abdul Carter is seen as the best. You have the second best defensive line. I know we're not looking at that. You have there'll be the top linebacker, and I've seen some guys say we need to take a linebacker. And listen, it does make sense to a degree, maybe in the second round, because you do definitely need to replace Demario Davis, and you probably would do yourself a service to see if you can land a guy there and not count on to see if Demario can play another season, healthy for you at the position. So that's interesting, not to rely on these older players, but over-rely, should I say. But yeah, you're going to have possibly Ted McMillan. He's thought about sliding. I don't know where would you feel comfortable at with Ted McMillan. And by the way, the Saints did meet with Ted McMillan, according to some of the reports. Reports indicating that the Saints met with Ted McMillan. So where does he? That's a real big one. Is where does Ted McMillan slide to? Where does he go? If he because he could be there. There are going to be a lot of really good people available there. So it's who's the best player to you guys? Yeah, they talk about the Saints. Yeah, meeting with him. According to Jordan Schultz was to say that he lined up a visit. Ted McMillan met with the Saints, according to Jordan Schultz. I think he works for CBS. And, of course, the cornerback prospect the Saints had dealt with, they also looked at as well. Because remember, and maybe, we look at some of the secondary stuff. We do know that Alontae Taylor and Kool-Aid McKinstry is there. They did bring back Isaac Yiadom, but Isaac's kind of, an older veteran there. Saints could still use another good cornerback. So it's an interesting proposition because you're looking at the fact that if the Saints have to move up to go and get Shedeur, they're going to give up multiple picks. Maybe some, a couple from this year. Maybe they can do it for next year. But I'm pretty sure they want to still be able to, if they need to move up, be able to use the capital to get the quarterback, but still not eat up all of their picks so they can still address some of the needs for the team. Because there's quite a few that we would like to have that they waited for to do. Like I was hoping that they go to the free agency and attack and get some more veterans here, but it could be a ploy where after the draft is over with, there's a space between, post-draft and right before training camp where you start seeing a rash of veterans get picked up by teams. So some of these guys who might be looking for more money, some of that will drop as they get prepared. Like, you see guys like Allen out there, the wide receiver. I think he's still available, and other solid veterans that are still out there. And teams don't like their asking price. They know that after the draft, when they start appeasing all these needs, some of that money will drop down and they'll take less money to get on the team. You see what I'm saying? So perhaps that's a game the Saints are playing as well. So Fox Sports also reported that NFL insider Jordan Schultz reported that the Oklahoma State cornerback Corey Black held a private workout with the Saints. He also visited several teams. Remember, he's a 6 feet tall cornerback who runs a 4.35 in the 40 and has a 39-inch vertical. So he played 5 years in Oklahoma. He had about 4 or 5 interceptions, I forget. But at the end of the day, these are two of the people that the Saints were, they had an opportunity to meet with. So we'll see, man, how it all gets and going, man. But the Saints doing due diligence on some of these players. But no doubt about it, my friend, quarterback is that high on the Saints list. But if BPA is involved, that could be anything. Because you need it. You could be a cornerback. You can be a safety. It could be, if there's a pass rusher or a defensive end for your 3-4 system, what's the best fit there if you go BPA in the first round and don't go after a quarterback? Who's the guy? Is it Pierce from Tennessee? I like Pierce there. I'm going to be honest with you. So we'll see how it all goes. That's the great thing about it, is that, we kind of waiting to see how it all spins and what they want to do if it's BPA. Trey says, we're so fortunate to have all the all-time QB play for so many years. We know what great is supposed to look like. Indeed, bro. And like I said, that was a supreme opportunity for the Saints because they had Drew for so long, and they could have, on the back of his career, had picked up a young successor, because that's the success, because Drew had a lot of success, not this buffoon we got here. But at the end of the day, we knew that they had a chance to get the right guy. And remember, they had Lamar Jackson, they had all these other guys, and the Saints didn't do it. Sean Payton, for whatever reason, I don't know, he had this thing where he wouldn't take these rookie quarterbacks high. And then he goes to Denver and does it with Bo Nix. And Bo Nix is like a college veteran. He played like 5 or 6 years in college. And he was ready for the pros, man. I'm like, that's the same thing that Dylan Gabriel did. That Gabriel did for Oregon. The guy played like 5 or 6 years in college. It's a college veteran. He didn't leave right away. He ate up all of his time, as much time as he can eat up, playing quarterback. He moved from here, transfer over here, play a year or two here, and just keep playing and study the position. So he developed himself, his game. And when he moved to the pros, he had so much there where he was able to kind of make a smoother transition. And Sean Payton, is a guy that had faith in him. Bo Nix is accurate. He was able to build offense and turn that thing around in 2 years. So it's pretty cool. We just didn't do that. Saints didn't do a good enough job. It wasn't supposed to be bridge quarterback or a veteran for a veteran. Like we had Bridgewater. He's supposed to go from Drew to the next guy that take you 10 years. And we just didn't do that. It's like the science that Green Bay was using. Green Bay had Brett Favre, then it went from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers. Then it went from Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love. You see what I'm saying? That's how it's supposed to be done. We're not supposed to go Drew Brees to Teddy Bridgewater to whoever else. You see what I'm saying? If that old veteran to old veteran, this type of thing. You're supposed to have that young guy there. And I always appreciated how Green Bay did it, and the Saints just never did that. Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love, and look at it, they just keep it rolling. That's what I would like to see. Michael says, Q, Mickey Loomis is acting this offseason as if the Saints are a playoff team. Even with Carr injury, he should be judged accordingly off this upcoming season. Indeed, bro. I think a lot of what we've seen from Mickey Loomis this year, man, is just, like I said, fam, what more do we need to see from Mickey Loomis? This is crazy. This whole Carr situation is ridiculous, man. I mean, wasn't he communicating with this guy? If he was communicating with this guy, he would have known that the man didn't want to stay here. Now we got all this going on. We don't need any more stuff than what we got over the team. And we need a team that's focused on football, not side attractions or all this other side action that's going on, Yeah, but he's and like I've been saying, this guy's not as good as y'all think he is, man. A lot of that was Sean Payton. He played his role as a gopher. That's what his best thing is. He knows how to finagle agreements, kick can down the road, but he's not an architect in terms of building something that will last forever. He only helps the guy with the vision. He's like, if you got a guy at the construction site that's building the building, the guy that's the boss is telling him what to do. And that's what he does. He'll go run, hey, man, Mickey, go get me some coffee. Oh, what kind of coffee you want? Cold coffee, hot coffee? How many sugars in your coffee you want? Oh, I know. That's what he does well. He'll go make the groceries. You give him, Sean Payton, give him the grocery list. Loomis will go make the groceries. He was a gopher, and that's just how I could put it. Like we couldn't afford Derek Carr when they wanted him, but Mickey created this contract look at all this money, and it didn't even work. And does he take, like he did, he got up there with Dennis Allen when Dennis Allen failed and got fired? Did he pony up and say, you know what, that Dennis Allen decision was a bad decision, man? It was a bad decision. I shouldn't have done it, and I apologize. I put us back 3 years, and listen, I thought Dennis could do it. I really did. I believed in him. I thought he was the right man for the job, and it just didn't work out. And I have to apologize for wasting y'all time with this one. I will do better. I promise you that. I learned from my mistakes. Did he say that? That dude didn't say nothing even close to that. When they fired Dennis Allen, he still got up there. I don't take anything back. Dennis Allen's a good coach. What you going to do with somebody that's stupid? Didn't he say that? And Dennis Allen got up there and on the interview with Glazer and said he didn't fail. Well, I look at it as I didn't fail. They just wanted somebody else. No, you idiot, chump, moron. You failed miserably. You had a 7-game losing streak and got fired because of it. But you didn't fail. These people, that's what I'm saying, people crazy. You mean to tell me Mickey Loomis didn't know that guy was crazy? Who says that? I didn't fail. They just didn't want me after a 7-game losing streak. Who says that? Who believes that? That guy's an idiot. He's crazy. That's a crazy statement. That don't make any sense. That don't make any sense. they just didn't want to. I don't look at it as if I failed. They just didn't want me. No. They didn't want you because you failed. You got it wrong. You got it flip-flopped. They didn't want you because nobody fires a winner unless they're stupid or they're crazy. Like Denver, the Nuggets, they're crazy as hell. You don't fire your coach and he just won you a championship 2 years ago. You don't do that. That's when you know that you are just out of your mind because you had all this success. You don't know how to take the success. You're supposed to take it with a humble spirit. You're not supposed to let the money or all that drive you anywhere. The guy built the team up is incredibly difficult. They win, they won a championship, and they fired the man. Put him in the street. Doesn't make any sense. You don't fire winners. Only crazy people do that. Memphis did it. Denver did it. So we don't fire. If you're winning, we're not going to fire you. We're not going to do that. But it just goes to show you, fam, how crazy these people are, man. But yeah, Mickey Loomis is not going to see anything. What's up, Kathleen? Shout out to you. Good to see Kathleen. Knox says Q. Bob Rose made a good point about Derek Carr. Says Carr's injuries forces our hand in the draft. The price for Shedeur is going to go up for the Saints since the news about Carr. Yeah, Bob is a good dude, man. Always got good scoops. Yeah. 504 Code says Saints should be putting out bad press on so he'll drop to us. Okay. All right. Sean says, I'm looking at the fact that only a couple of Saints staffers showed up to Shedeur's workout, and almost the whole staff, including Moore, showed up for darts. Action speaks louder than words. It's true. Or then again, bro, they could have been downplaying it. You making a point, Sean, but what about the fact they could have been downplaying it the opposite way? Like, we don't need to be showing all of this stuff right now because it's already just a avalanche of information about us all, in our likes on Shedeur, right? So we don't need the whole contingent there to kind of feed that fire, so to speak, right? So if I send a couple of guys there and I go over here, that might kind of cool it off a bit. You know what I'm saying? They play games like that sometimes, you never know. All right, Dylan says, I still think we get the best player available at 9. If Shedeur comes at 9, get him. I wouldn't trade up. I roll with Rattler and the first string, but I'm just a coach. He says, I'm just a couch coach. All right. Your opinion counts, Dylan. It's okay, bro. We just talking. All right, Pam, what she said, I've been chilling, Q. The Saints make my day. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we just can't have an off season where things are going right. We always got to have some craziness, man. Always got to have some sucker stuff going on. KT says, Q, what time you want to do show? Email me, bro. We'll work on it, bro. Yeah, I've been watching. You've been sending me a lot of videos to watch, bro. I've been doing my best to try to keep up with some of these people. Some of them I'm familiar with, KT, but a couple of them guys I never heard of, bro. So I appreciate you doing that, man. All right, Jaden says, Q, if you had to choose between those two players for the Saints to draft, he says, would it be running back AJ or he said AJ? Oh, Ashton Genty or Ted McMillan? If he says, who would I draft between both of them if I had a chance? Oh, man, that's a good question. You got to go with, man, I don't know. But if Genty is there, do you pass on Ashton Genty if he's there? If you're the Saints? If it's between your example, if it's Ted McMillan and Ashton Genty, man, I would have to go with Genty on that, bro. You talk about successors. You have Alvin Kamara and Ashton Genty in the same. Oh my God, man! You know what you can do with that? If you have Ashton Genty and Alvin Kamara in the same backfield, do you not? A guy with imagination could do anything. We have Oh my goodness, that would be ridiculous. Man, that would be crazy to have them guys because those guys could play off each other. You can have this guy playing wide receiver, spread him out like a wide receiver, have him decoyed. You can run him man, it would just be crazy. A guy with imagination could really work with that. All right. Pam says Derek Carr still pissed off with the Saints since the Mardi Gras floor. We cooked them. Duke says exactly, Q. That was a huge mistake by Sean Payton passing on Davenport for Lamar Jackson simply. every day. Yeah, and that's the thing. You know, we kind of set ourselves back with that. Look what Lamar Jackson is doing. I mean, even though he hasn't won a championship yet, but he's taken the team a lot further than what we've seen lately in the Who Dat Nation. You know, I mean, think about it. I mean, the Ravens are competitively competing for AFC championships. You know, and they're a top team in this here league right now, and that's largely the result of Lamar Jackson's game. So, I mean, if we had him here, could you imagine where the Saints would be? Because when we had him, if the Saints had drafted, it changed everything. The landscape of the NFL would be completely changed if they took Lamar Jackson. Number one, Sean Payton wouldn't have went anywhere. Sean Payton would have not left the Saints. He would still be here if they had drafted Lamar Jackson, because they would have moved, because Drew would have went out when he was supposed to go, and Lamar Jackson would have stepped in. Because when Drew got hurt that time, and I think he had a year or two left, if they had picked up Lamar Jackson, they wouldn't need to redo anything with Drew Brees. It would have just shifted from Drew to the Lamar Jackson era, and Drew would have went out when he was supposed to. And Lamar would have took over the team. You still have Sean Payton. You would still had a lot of these weapons that we had. Well, some of these guys would move on by now, but you still will have Sean Payton here. As long as you have Lamar Jackson here, Sean Payton and Lamar Jackson they would be here if they drafted him. Sean wouldn't have left anywhere. He would still be here. He wouldn't have left to go nowhere else, and Lamar Jackson sitting in his face, sitting up in there. All right. HB says, who do you think what's up, HB? So who do you think Rattler can win 8 or 9 games? I don't know, bro. I mean, I know it. Well, he hadn't won any games last year, right? He's 0 of 6 as a starter. We know that he wants to get that first win. I think the guy is really talented, man. You know, but it depends on what else other can the Saints put around him, because I want to see Spencer have a strong offensive line, because injury's going to hit the Saints again. I mean, it's not like it's not going to hit. There are going to be injuries to the Saints. Saints got to be built correctly. They got to fortify the line. They got to be able to get another big wide receiver to help out there. I know they got Brandon Cooks there and all this kind of stuff. And I want to see another big wide receiver, perhaps Savion Jones, Savion from TCU could be there in the second round, where the Saints could get a guy or, whatever, and put him there. Just having weapons around him, man, to be able to do. But I don't know how many games they win this upcoming season, but I know Spencer Rattler will be competitive. I mean, he'd be in there running around, he'd be making plays. So I mean, when they finish with 5 wins, I mean, I most certainly think that he can probably win. Maybe he can win probably 5 or 6 games. I mean, we won 5 games last year. That wasn't nothing, right? Is it a scenario where the Saints do worse than 5 wins in y'all guys' opinion? Do you think the Saints next year, how they're built prior to the draft, do you guys see them winning at least 5 games or repeating 5 games? 5-12 last year is like the floor, right? We haven't been this bad since prior to Katrina. I mean, do they get at least 6 games, 7 games? I think Spencer can get you a good 4 or 5 games. I don't know, depending on how the offense is built, though. Thank you, HB. All right, Carr is a bum. Okay, yeah, the way he's behaving. All right, Cartel said, I agree with Lamar Jackson, but let's be real. With what he's been able to accomplish and what he's demanding and pay, Mickey would not have been able to pay him accordingly. Really? And we paying Carr? I think Mickey would have gave him the money, bro. I think Mickey don't care about, he don't manage anything correctly, bro. He would have paid Lamar Jackson. He would have paid Lamar Jackson. If Lamar Jackson is winning, that guy would have paid him. He don't turn and do no stop you from getting paid unless he mad at you, or like what Alvin Kamara was doing. When Kamara was vocal against the losing culture of the Saints last year in the locker room, and he delayed paying them, man. Y'all remember that? He delayed paying them until he was, he had to. So, I mean, it's just stupid. How do you delay Alvin Kamara? You see Alvin Kamara's value, and remember this stuff, how he's seen Alvin Kamara's value as not elevated, but still sit up here and guarantee or call that money he ain't gonna throw a pass for you. Y'all make that make sense to me. See, that's what the problem I be having with the stupid Loomis dude. Remember the Kamara situation. He delayed paying Alvin Kamara, haggled over how much money it was, but then sit up here and pay Derek Carr all that guaranteed money, and he knew he was hurt. Make it make sense to me. How does that work? How does that work? I said, I'd be thinking, like, how you do that? How you play games with Alvin Kamara where he's a little older and this type of thing, but then Derek Carr, who was hurt every year, and you still guarantee and pay the man? Make it make sense, fam. How does that work? How does that go? How in the hell does that work? And Alvin Kamara is the Saints' all-time. Right, he was what, 100-something odd yards before it, a couple hundred yards off it before he broke it in the seat. What was it? No, he was a couple more than that. It was what about 500-600 yards? I think it was something like that to break it when the season started. This guy is the literal meaning of productivity. Alvin Kamara, the offense, 70% of the offense flowed through Alvin Kamara, and this asshole was sitting up here haggling over money over him and how they view him, but paid what's the injured prone linebacker we have, Pete Werner. Paid Pete Werner, who was injured almost every year. He's been here. I like Pete, but truth is truth. But you look at Alvin Kamara and haggle over his money, but don't haggle over Derek Carr getting guaranteed money for nothing. Explain that to me, man. It don't make no sense. That's what I'm saying. That's crazy work to me. All right, ML Jack says post June 1st next year because we can save a little more money. Thank you, ML Jackson. Much love, bro. Appreciate you. All right, I'm just asking questions. Jack says Derek Carr should give 1/4 of his pay to Kamara for all the the check downs. But like I said, man, that's why I have such a problem with how the Saints are ran, because it doesn't make any sense. Mickey Loomis doesn't have a idea of what he's doing. He operates out of emotion and not of logic and reasoning. It's emotion. We don't need no guy doing that. And like I told y'all before, the guy's not as good as what you think he is. Because if a really smart general manager would not have done this with Derek Carr's contract. He would have known that Derek Carr, because I'm pretty sure he can have a conversation. Carr would have told him that he wants to be traded, that he doesn't want to be here. When Dennis Allen got fired, I knew he was that guy, because I told y'all his protection was gone. When his protection is gone, he's not going to stand back there and take bows and arrows from nobody. He wants to take the money and run. He wants to take the money and run. So he has this whole thing. He basically, like the YouTube page, him going on this vacation. This is stuff like knowing, hey, man, I'm not going back there, because the Who Dat Nation will roast this guy, man. This guy standing back there in the pocket, man, come on, dude. But that's this, like I said, once again, aim it all at Mickey Loomis, because this doesn't make any sense. None of this makes sense. Pay this man all this money, but haggle over Kamara about what he wanted to pay. It's just, you can't make it up. I don't know. Duke says, facts Q, that's straight wrong on AK-41. Exactly, I observed Loomis is suspect off code. He's an off-code moron, man. I told y'all that, living off of a rep that he doesn't deserve. He is a side chick, an assistant in this thing. Like Perry Mason, had his assistant, Della Street, right? Della was his confidential secretary, but Mickey's Della. He ain't Perry Mason. Mickey Loomis is not Perry Mason. Mickey Loomis is Della Street. He's a side chick. He don't do nothing. He can't do it by himself, because that's not how he made. He ain't governed that way. He's not logical. He's illogical and emotional. That's how he governs himself. That's why this team is like what it is. I keep telling y'all that. Y'all looking at him, stop giving him unworn, or you found Sean Payton. No, he found a collection of coaches, and it was Tom Benson who whittled them down. Tom Benson questioned all of these men. Tom Benson was the one that hired them. It was a different time then. When Tom Benson was alive, Tom Benson had that control. Mickey Loomis went and found these coaches. He put together a list of coaches, which were McCarthy, Payton, and Kubiak. And Tom Benson talked to each one of them. McCarthy ended up going to Green Bay. And it was between Sean and Gary Kubiak, and Tom Benson chose Gary Kubiak. The only reason he didn't sign is because Kubiak got a contract from the Texans and he wanted the Saints to match it, and he would have been the Saints coach. And Tom Benson told him no because he didn't want to pay that much money. And he then settled for Sean Payton. I keep saying the same thing. That's how it went. People know that Gary Kubiak was Tom Benson's choice. He wanted Gary Kubiak because he had the championship rings. Remember, Kubiak won championships as a backup quarterback behind John Elway, and he won championships as an offensive coordinator under Shanahan when he was out there in Denver. He had the hardware, and that's what Tom Benson wanted, but the price was too high. So when he told him no, Kubiak went to Houston, to the Texans, and Sean Payton was the guy, the next guy that he said, well, Sean's the guy. It wasn't no stuff about, Sean Payton just knew New Orleans was his spot. Man, get out of here with that. That's not how it went. And it's like I told you, the Drew Brees thing. Drew had came down, talked to the Saints, and the Saints made him an offer. Then Drew left New Orleans, went to Miami, and talked to Nick Saban, who was running the Dolphins at that time. And he told him, Drew was trying to get the job for Miami. Nick Saban was the head coach and general manager. He had left LSU to take that job. I think he was there for 2 years. And that first year, Nick Saban was choosing between Drew Brees and Dante Culpepper, the former quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings. And Nick Saban chose Dante Culpepper over Drew Brees. He later admitted, like in an interview like several months ago, that he made a humongous mistake, which of course is obvious now. And that's how you ended up with Drew, because Drew didn't say, okay, since Miami doesn't want me, I'm going to take that offer and go back to New Orleans, go to New Orleans. And that's how he ended up with us. He was trying to go to Miami. And the truth is, whoever Miami didn't choose is who you was going to get. So if they chose Drew, you would end up with Culpepper. That's how it went. They were trying to go to Miami, both of them. And you got Drew because he got chose over. So both guys, kind of came to you that way. And that's how it ended up being built. That's how it is. Nothing romantic about none of that. That they was trying to go, he was going that Sean got chose because Kubiak was too high, and Drew chose New Orleans because Miami didn't want him. That's how you ended up with him. Regardless or not, that's the truth. We ended up getting a Super Bowl and having like a lot of success with both those guys. But in the end, that's how it happened. And don't let Mickey Loomis take all that credit for it, because he did do the interview process to do it. And he was a golden gopher that helped Sean Payton accrue the talent. But that's where it stops, as you can see. He doesn't have the independent style of governing that you want a general manager to have, because he's not a general manager. He's a VP guy masquerading as a general manager. I told you all that before. He's really a VP. He's an executive pretending to be a general manager. That's why he doesn't do any evaluations during the season. That's why he talks the way he talks. He screw up and mess up, and nobody punishes him. Nobody talks nothing about it. They don't go out there and hammer his ass. They don't do. We got to do all that in the press. And he's thin-skinned. He's petty, and you tear his ass up in the press. He don't like it. He don't like tough questions. And these people are bloated morons, man. I keep telling y'all that. These people, they're not, especially Mickey Loomis, he's not as good as you think he is. That's why you make a mistake with this Derek Carr situation. Man don't want to be here. You're paying him guaranteed money, but haggle over other players who are more productive. Doesn't make any sense. That's the God honest truth. Might not sound like it is, but this is truth talk here. The guy start seeing these people for who they are, family. When they show you their face, believe them, and don't try to paint them in another light that they don't deserve. His head is already big enough. We're trying to get accountability in the building for knowing we want success in these teams. Accountability has to be there. They obviously are listening to you. If they wasn't listening, they wouldn't have fired Dennis Allen. They would have kept on doing what you got to do. But I told y'all, and I always told y'all, the point is, if they want your money, you got power over them. They want your money, and if you collectively hold your money back like you did last year, you'll get all this stuff right. You'll force them. You'll force them to do right. You know, because all they want to do is make more money off of you, and you giving them all the money anyway. She doing this, Gail doing this because she wants a stadium. She wants a new arena. She ain't gonna get the arena with the Pelicans losing. She know that. They tried to do that, work it through the press before, and people slammed it down. She trying to get a basketball arena, family. She can't get it with the Pelicans losing, and it's the same thing happened with the Superdome prior to Katrina when Benson was trying to get a brand new stadium for the stinking Saints who was bottoming out. So, I mean, in the end, it's all about a money grab. But when your team is failing, you cannot ask the people for new facilities that cost billions of dollars, and they're only willing to pay 30 to 40%, if that, for helping put money into it. Wasn't it just last year where the people that run the Dome had to put Saints on Front Street for money they owed for the Superdome? Y'all remember that? Put one in the chat if y'all remember that. They had to put them on Front Street to the press and embarrass them to get money for off Superdome money that they owed, that they was late on the payment. How you $6 billion all around here and you still ain't paying these people? And you don't pay no rent on that anyway. The little money they had to pay they was late on. You people agreed, man. Put one in the chat if y'all remember that. Remember the Saints was late paying that money to the Superdome people that had to put them on Front Street for that. It's sad, man. It's business, man. These people, that's how they operate. I know they modus operandi. I know how they get down. I know their business signature. I know how they think. I know all of that about these people, fam. I know that. That's how I know how they failing with the Pelicans. I've been saying for years about how the Pelicans and everything that I be saying, me and DC on the Pelican Post Game Report, they do it. Everything. We tell them this, that, and the third thing. But they don't never clear out everything because they so cheap. They don't want to fire the whole coaching staff because they got to pay those people, settle with them and pay them, and hire more people to do the job that they failed to do. They do not want to do that. Most logical teams will fire a big-nosed coach who not doing nothing right and he losing his team. They wouldn't hold on to that. They'll fire him and his staff or bring in people. It's the same thing. Last time they did this 6 years ago when they gave David Griffin a job, when he came in here with all his lip service, Gail Benson made him keep Elvin Gentry for 1 year. Made him keep him. Now why? And this is the same thing that happened. It happening again. They do the same stuff all the time. They came in here with it and would hire Griffin. And he kept Elvin Gentry, who should have been fired, kept him for 1 year. He got fired anyway. Now watch what happened if they keep that guy. Watch, because who's going to play for this guy and the team don't like him? He lost the team. You got championship coaches available, but they don't want to spend the money. See, they'll hire Joe and put money in him and then make it seem like it was one guy, it was David Griffin messing up. And it's never that. It's not him. It's him and his stinking coach and all these other guys. They need to go. But they will not fire them, so they will ask the other coach if there's a new coach, can you take some of these guys on your staff? Because they don't want to fire these guys, settle with them, and hire new guys to replace them. That's how the Saints and Gail operate here. They're repeating their steps. They're doing the same thing. New VP, same coach. They did this 6 years ago with Elvin Gentry. Now it's Willie Green and Joe Dumars. It's history. They do the same thing over and over again. The problem, a lot of people don't see it because a lot of young people, they don't see that, but it's okay. We got people here that pick up the pattern and the rhythm. We understand how this go. They do the same stuff over and over again. It's so easy to pinpoint it. It's so easy. Anyway, listen, I'm going to get ready to go, man. Listen, I appreciate y'all for being in the stream. Love, man, y'all hit the like button, man. It's True Talk, Real Talk. Bottom line is, with this team here going forward, the Saints have to get up off of Derek Carr. They're going to have to post June 1st cut this guy and get up off the money. They're going to eat the money anyway. They done gave all this stuff up to him. Even if he was on the team for next year, you have $70 million dead cap hit. At least if they do it with the post June 1st cut, that's what he's really hoping for. That will be able to free him up so that the Saints move forward. The Saints can start to rebuild. They can go and get aggressive, get the quarterback they want, whether that's Shedeur or anybody else. Just start all over again. Let Spencer and them compete with the guy, whoever it's going to be, and just move this thing forward. Derek Carr is not a part of the future. The Who Dat Nation doesn't like him. He's thumbing his nose at the family members with what he been doing with his little YouTube page and him going on these trips and all this kind of stuff and saying all this. He don't want to be here. We don't keep people who don't want to be a part of the team. We don't do that stupid, dumb Mickey Loomis. Please release this June 1st, post June 1st, cut this clown. Let's move forward and get the money over with, whatever we got to do, and move forward without him. That's my commentary about the Derek Carr thing, because I personally don't think the man has the cojones or the backbone to stand before the Who Dat Nation as their quarterback and take all of the stuff that comes with that based on the fact that he's not being a professional right now. Lying, I don't think his injury, his arm is hurt. I think he's lying about that. Deanna Rossini said that he released that from his camp. Why would you release that? Why would you release that and let that know, unless that's an attempt to force you out, to force you, provide a way and out for yourself so that you don't go to camp? Because if he was hurt and he was rehab, you have the surgery, or you would be in Saints building right now with them dealing with some type of rehabilitation program. Instead, he's somewhere else chilling. And once again, like I said, you can hit him from being a non-professional, but what's the charge for Mickey Loomis, who created all of this? What does he get? It's what we got going on, fam, and I talk about it, but I ain't create this shit, man. I'm just just telling y'all what's going on. We just, damn, a 5-12 season preceded by a $150 million quarterback behaving in this manner, and a stupid general manager VP guy who doesn't get any smoke or punishment for creating this scenario. It's just bonkers to me. All right, so anyway, man, let me get on about it. I appreciate you guys for being on the stream. Do me a service. Hit the like button, man. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell as well for more talk. We'll be back, I want to say, probably on Saturday. I'm going to see about getting KT, our Great Saint Think Tank scout in. We'll cover some more of the players for the upcoming draft. Next week is draft week. All of this stuff about who goes where in this, it'll be answered by Thursday. I'm with Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of next week is the draft. So we'll, by Thursday, family, and these days be moving, we should be having and getting some really good game and see what is really going on in the quarterback situation. We get some more clarity on this Carr crap and move forward and put some positive players on the field that will start the keys to victory. Perhaps maybe we can get a young quarterback with a leader there, a young leader, whether that's Spencer or whether that's Shedeur or whether whoever that is. Next week will be the week, man. We'll see. All right, Tyrell. What's up, Tyrell? He says, Q, the C on the Carr's chest stands for coward and chump because he ain't a captain. That's true. That's true, fam. That's why I said, yeah, he is definitely, that's why I said he's not going to come back to the Who Dat Nation and tries to make this happen. He's trying to force his way out. Lying about injuries. So he's gonna lie about injuries, so that stops him from playing the entire season, or he's gonna hope the Saints June 1st, post June 1st cut him. That's your plan, Carr? That's your plan? Boy, wow. And Mickey Loomis chose this guy. He chose the coach and chose this quarterback. Mickey Loomis was the one that okayed all of this, man. To bring this dude on the team. Wow, man. Wow. Crazy talk. All right, what's up, Brother Wendell? How you doing, sir? Much love, man. Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, we'll see, bro. We'll see. Yeah. He says the lemon. Remember the yes, bro. Yes, I remember. It's crazy, man. All right, Muse. Shout out to Muse, man. Appreciate you once again, sweetheart. And appreciate all the family members, all my queens, kings, and the Coma, man. Listen, appreciate y'all. I'll be back on a Saturday, man, to kind of go over the draft stuff. We'll go and break some prospects down, man. Perhaps look at some diamonds in the rough and go over the Shedeur Sanders talk and whatever talk the Saints got going on. And we'll cover it on Saturday stream. So I appreciate y'all. Hit the like button, hit the notification bell. Check out our sponsors. Links in the description section below. And I'm going to holler at you on the next one. Much love. Peace.
Yeah. Huh? Boogie like Benson, I'm a Who Dat. Long as I'm living, I'm a Who Dat. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Vincent, I'm a who that. Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Fucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Probably like this, and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Vincent, I'm a who that. It's the Sports Coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion with the largest selection of odds on everything from NBA and college basketball to NHL and UFC. BetOnline continues to be your number one sports betting source for every three-pointer to hat trick. BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here.
WhoThatDaily.com. That's right, the WhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoThatDaily.com is your site. The WhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform continue to grow. Check out the Pro Shop and Who That too.